going to talk about a new term. Now, I will tell you, full disclosure, in the form of maybe a confession. Sometimes I get a little irritated with new ways of saying the same thing. Okay, so let me give you an example. So I have talked about imposter syndrome before on the show, and I'm just like, stop. You're not an imposter. You're not fraudulent, and you don't have a disease. You're dealing with doubt, right? So, and I unpack this, and I'm just saying I get a little irritated with us trying to put new phrases and monikers on things. It's the same old thing. And so here's the next one, Alex. It's called quiet quitting. What is it? A couple of sources here starting to pop up in the news. And I'm telling you right now, Alex, I will be on the news sometime soon talking about this. My guess is. So what is it? So quiet quitting is essentially a rejection of the idea that work has to take over your life and that you as an employee should be going above and beyond in your role. Now let's stop. Now this is from the New York Post. First of all, no one should ever believe that work has to take over your life. Are there times where it's crazy? A crazy season? Are there times where you work for an overbearing boss and company and they act like it? Yes, but this is not a philosophy. And now here's the insidious part of this. The thing you got to be very careful of is that you shouldn't be going above and beyond in your role. What? Okay. If you want to live a life of average, but if you want to be excellent, guess what that means? Above and beyond. Excellence is always predicated on going above and beyond. Duh. So apparently, this concept has its origins in China. I don't know if I'm going to get flagged and kicked off the internet for saying this, but I'm reporting this from the New York Post. Please don't banish me. It's known as lying flat or tang ping. The trend jump-started in April 2021 when an online post about the concept went viral, with the author poking holes in the old mindset that work must be your life. Another viral TikTok about the movement sparked a lively discussion, and I don't know if this is the one, but is this the one here? Great, so I want to play this, and then I'll continue to unpack this. Let's play this viral TikTok.
I recently learned about this term called quiet quitting, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not, and your worth as a person is not defined by your labor.
No, I agree with that part right there. I agree with the second half. Your life is not defined by your work. Well, let me say this. Your value as a human being is not defined by your work. You are valuable. You were made in the image of God. You are a beautiful creation. You have tremendous value. However, we are defined by what we do. Hello. We just are. You ever wonder how they came up with the idea of calling a person who paints a painter? Oh, here's one. A person who lays bricks, they're called masons or bricklayers. Oh, okay. Don't tell me we aren't defined by what we do. Now, the fact of the matter is your value as a human being should not be attached to your profession or the amount of money in your bank account. That I agree with. You are invaluable. I believe wholeheartedly in the precious sanctity of someone's life. You are invaluable, friend. Make no mistake about it. But anyway, so this catches on. So this thing goes crazy. And so there's a big old Reddit thread attached to this TikTok coming out of Australia. Here's a couple of comments. I just want to focus on two. I went from putting in 110% into everything I did to the absolute bare minimum required to keep me happy and employed. All right, come back to that. Versus this one. My work ethic is still strong, but I no longer put my hand up for every other shift, and I say no to some that are asked of me. Now, these are two very different manifestations of quiet quitting. I think the first one is really, again, I didn't create this term, but this is real quiet quitting. Look, instead of giving my all, it literally says, I did the absolute bare minimum. That's quiet quitting. In other words, they're disengaged. And for years, I think we're approaching 10 years of Gallup putting out data where the number remains about the same, 66, 68, 70% of Americans are disengaged in their work, doing the absolute bare minimum. This is not a new phenomenon. It's just a new way to say it. Because the second statement was from a nurse. My work ethic is still strong, but I'm no longer feeling pressure to say yes to the overtime shift. Now, that's a boundary. That's healthy. She's not a quiet quitter. She's someone who goes, you know what? I got to put some boundaries up. Another person said, I've been doing this for years. Yeah, no duh. Others pointed out this isn't a new concept, claiming it's nothing more than healthy boundaries. Well, the second one's a healthy boundary. The first one is just good old-fashioned people not being engaged. So then Fox Business has on or in this article from them, they cite Amy Morin, a psychotherapist. She says, quiet quitting refers to a personal decision to quit putting in too much effort at work. They have decided to put in the bare minimum at work. Now, then she goes on to say, some people are doing this because they recognize that despite their effort, working long hours or overachieving doesn't do them any good. Oh, Amy, come on. Half of that sentence is right. The other half is wildly wrong. Overachieving always does us good. It's the very word itself. I am achieving excellent results. I am achieving promotions. I am achieving fatter paychecks. It's got to be careful with what we say. She goes on to say they might simply become happy being average employees who set healthy boundaries. Amy, no one is happy being average. This is nonsense. I got to tell you, this is why I'm reporting on this. If you think that quiet quitting, the way we've defined it as putting in the bare minimum, is going to make you happy, you are wrong. If you think being average in anything is going to make you happy, you're wrong. It is a form of settling for less than your best. Not what I think is best, but your best. Now, she does say this. She does point out, and I agree with her on this one. I disagree with her twice. This quiet quitting culture is just people trying to numb the pain of burnout. And it's really a lack of meaning. It's not just the schedule. So, hey, you don't need to quiet quit. What you need is to find your sweet spot.